కుందేందు తుషారహార ధవళ యా శుభ్రవస్త్రావృత యా వీణావరదండమండితకర యా శ్వేతపద్మాసనా యా బ్రహ్మాచ్యుత శంకర ప్రభృతిభిర్దేవైః సదా వందితా సా మాం పాతు సరస్వతీ భగవతీ నిశ్శేషజాడ్యాపహ. అంబా నవాంబుజోజ్వలకరాంబుజ శారద చంద్ర చంద్రికాడంబర చారుమూర్తి ప్రకట స్ఫుటభూషణ రత్నరోచిరాచూపిత దిగ్విభాగ శృతిసూక్త వివిక్త నిజ ప్రభావ భావాంబర వీధి విశ్రుత విహారీ నను కృపజూడు భారతి.
The Satavahana age boasts of outstanding works of literary merit. The Katantra, written by Sarvavarman, minister to a Satavahana king, Kuntala, 38 to 30 BC, to enable him to acquire command over Sanskrit grammar, enjoyed great fame, superseding older works on the subject, and is in use even today in East Bengal and Kashmir. Another minister of the same monarch, Gunadhya, wrote the Brihat Katha, the earliest collection of romantic tales of motives fetched from the Ramayana and Buddhist sources, interwoven into the main story of the exploits of a hero, Naravahana Datta, which was much applauded.
Adhaikatasya mahishirajnastana bharalasa Sirisha sukumarangi Kridanti klamamabhyagat Sa jalairabhishilchantam Rajanamasakhasati Abravin modakairdeva Paritadayamamiti.
Hala Satavahana, 20 to 24, a patron of poets who illumined his court, was himself the compiler of Gatha Saptasati, and a celebrated anthology of 700 romantic verses in the Arya meter, simple loves set among simple scenes, the cowherd and the cowherdess, the girl who tends the garden or grinds corn at the mill, the hunter and the hand worker.
Mandeya savo chiyadavavivo Piyagamahararasassa Tiyaseham Jenara anarahi Ama samudhariyam.
It was on Sri Parvata, Sri Parvata, in a monastery by an ancient Tibetan tradition that Nagarjuna, the greatest of Buddhist philosophers, lived towards the evening of his life and was interred. A prodigious figure of encyclopedic scholarship, he was the celebrated founder of the Madhyamika system of Buddhist philosophy and the greatest apostle of the Mahayana great vehicle. The Mahayana ritual, in an unfettered veneration of the anthropomorphic deities, harnessed the painter and the sculptor to the expansive cult of image worship, and thereafter Buddhist art became the handmaid of the new canon, voyaged forth in sheer fulfillment. For the Mahayana was soon to become a world religion, and the greatest single factor which profoundly influenced the history of mankind. The Krishna, in its transit to the Bay of Bengal, washed the stately hills at Nagarjunakonda, a natural fortification buttressed by ramparts of stone and brick. In this mountain fastness flourished in the 3rd century Vijayapuri, city of victory, capital of the successors of the Satavahanas in their eastern dominions, the Ikshvakus. The stupendous antiquities of Nagarjunakonda were lighted upon in March 1926 by A.R. Saraswati, an assistant to the Archaeological Superintendent for Epigraphy, Madras. In 1927, A.H. Longhurst undertook systematic excavations of the valley, lasting until 1931. In a resumption of the diggings, T.N. Ramachandran accomplished a minor project from 1938 to 1940. But the more extensive excavations were carried out by R. Subramaniam, Superintendent, Archaeological Survey of India, in a special campaign for salvaging as much of the archaeological wealth of Nagarjunakonda as possible against its impending submergence. The Ikshvaku monarchs themselves were champions of Vedic Brahmanism, but notable Buddhist monuments of Nagarjunakonda were principally due to the benevolence of the ladies of the house and of another prominent benefactress, Bodhisri. The contents of the bas-reliefs of Nagarjunakonda were fetched from the life of the Buddha or from the tales of his previous births. From the events in the life of the Buddha are sculptured the Bodhisattva Shvetaketu, informing the gods of his intention to be born as a Buddha. The descent of the Buddha as a white elephant. Siddhartha's nativity. The Mahabhi-nishkramana. Chandaka relates to Suddhodana, Siddhartha's Abhinishkramana. The transportation of Gautama's headdress to heaven. Sujata offering food to the Buddha. The gods exhort the Buddha to proclaim the Dharma. And the Mahanirvana, the great extinction. Placed in the middle of the 3rd century, Vatsyayana's magnum opus, the Kama Sutra, is not only a scientific treatise on the subject of the relations between the sexes in their physical, emotional, psychological, and sociological aspects, an epitome of the long tradition of researches of his predecessors in the field, now lost, but an invaluable document for the study of the Indian social organization of Satavahana times, yet strikingly modern in its impact in every clime. Jevaux de Breuil excavated in 1926 the remains of an exuberantly decorated stupa from a mound at the village of Goli, 3 miles from Rentachintala, and situated on a stream, Golleru, which joins the Krishna 2 miles lower down, 18 miles below Nagarjunakonda. The sculptures of Goli, of the same age as the 4th period at Amaravati, are ascribed to the 3rd century. 6 kilometers to the northwest of Macherla, at the upland village of Tarlapalli in the Guntur district, the rivulet Chandravanka, at the threshold of its confluence with the Krishna, falls from a height of about 21 meters in fascinating ribbons of scintillating waterfalls known as Ettipotala. Hemavati or Henjeru, a straggling hamlet today, 22 kilometers west of Madakasira, in the Anantapur district, with no proper communications, was once the flourishing capital of the Nolamba kings who ruled from 757 to 973, a territory of 32,000 villages. They raised temples of architectural excellence and sculptural virtuosity, among them the Siddheshwara, the Doddeshwara, the Virupaksheshwara and the Malleshwara, grouped in the northwest of the village, in ruins however today and sadly neglected. The cream of Nolamba sculptures fetched from Hemavati are displayed in an exclusive bay of the Government Museum at Chennai. Among the sculptures displayed in the site museum at Hemavati, the Siddheshwara is composed of a sanctum with a life-sized icon of a seated Shiva in Sukhasana on a square pedestal instead of a linga. The square Doddeshwara is flat-roofed without a shikhara. The Buddhist establishment of Salihundam, 12 miles off Srikakulam, stands formidably in a striking prospect atop a hill on the south bank of the winding river Vamsadhara, which joins the Bay of Bengal at the ancient port of Kalingapatnam some 5 miles away. Salihundam was first discovered in 1919 by the celebrated writer G.V. Ramamurthy Pantulu. A.H. Longhurst, Superintendent of Archaeology, Southern Circle, Madras, at the time excavated the site and exposed brick structures on the summit of the hill, including the ruins of a Mahastupa. To the east of it, 2 mounds which yielded a wheel-shaped stupa. To the east of the Mahastupa, an apsidal temple and a number of sculptures in stone of the Tantric period. Picturesquely surrounded by hills, Vijayawada, the second largest city in Andhra Pradesh, grown out of an ancient village, is situated at the head of the delta of the Krishna on its northern bank. The temple of Kanakadurga on the Indrakila hill is the most famous here and the most venerated. The Akkanna Madanna caves in Vijayawada are notable for the Krishna Leela carvings and the Durga cave. The Krishna Pushkaram, a national festival, is held here once in 12 years. On the south bank of the Krishna, 4 kilometers from Vijayawada, in a turning from the barrage over the river, lies Undavalli, famous for its Brahmanical caves excavated by the Vishnukundin kings who ruled over the territory from 420. The caves, discovered by Colonel Mackenzie in 1797, are dedicated to Ananta Padmanabha Swami, the tutelar deity of the dynasty, a colossal recumbent figure in the third story. Originally a seat of Buddhism, the cave was put to Hindu use after the Buddhists abandoned it. In architectural excellence, the 4-tiered caves, majestic in their impact, compare favorably with those of Ajanta. The Hill of Bliss, Mangalagiri, lies some 7 miles from Vijayawada on the national highway to Chennai. The temple of Lakshmi Narasimha Swami on the hill is famed far and wide. The unique feature of the temple is that jaggery water, Panakam, fed into the mouth of the deity, is thrown back in half of the quantity as prasada to the devotees. The temple on the hill is a landmark around, commanding a majestic view for miles afar. At the foot of the hill, the shrine, also of Lakshmi Narasimha Swami, boasts a 11-story towering gopura over the eastern gate, regarded the tallest in India, constructed by Vasireddy Venkatadri Naidu, the Zamindar of Amaravati. The sage Chaitanya visited the temple in 1312, and the imprints of his feet and a verse dedicated to him are still to be seen in the premises of the temple. Situate 8 kilometers from Kuchipudi on the banks of the Krishna, Srikakulam is considered one of the strongholds of the kingdom of the Satavahanas and celebrated for its ancient temple of Andra Mahavishnu. Krishnadevaraya visited the place and paid homage to the deity. It was here that he wrote the literary classic Amuktamalyada under a mantapa, which is a landmark of the temple complex. 5 kilometers from Hamsala Devi, the Krishna debouches into the Bay of Bengal. A sacred place of pilgrimage, the shrine of Venugopala Swami, constructed during the rule of the Chola kings, is an important place of worship. On the west bank of the river Tungabhadra, in the Mahbubnagar district of Andhra Pradesh, the Navabrahma temples of Alampur, renowned as the Dakshina Kashi, Varanasi of the south, are remarkable for the coalescence of an indigenous architectural idiom with the early Chalukyan style of Aihole and Pattadakkal in Karnataka, evolving in the process a distinctive structural expression. The 9 Brahma temples comprise the Bala Brahma, the Kumara Brahma, the Arka Brahma, the Veera Brahma, the Vishwa Brahma, the Taraka Brahma, the Garuda Brahma, the Svarga Brahma, and the Padma Brahma. The proximate inspiration for the sculptures of the Alampur temples were the early Chalukyan shrines, rock cut at Badami or structural at Aihole and Pattadakkal. The Alampur sculptures indeed register a significant advance over the statuary of Aihole and Pattadakkal in a liberation of the plastic image from the tensions of a yesterday. They are more variegated in a breadth and sweep of conception, realized in lyrical forms, especially in the Mithuna compositions and the flying celestials. The powerful carvings of divinity are informed by a graceful and supple energy, held in balance by a quiet restraint in the plastic emphasis. This is the conspectus of the splendor of Andhra art, in a comprehensive review of the arts of painting, sculpture, architecture, literature, music, drama, dance, and folk performances through the centuries, of undying glory, a prismatic arch in the firmament of history.
Purvambo Nisikalahasti Nagari శ్రీమన్మహేంద్రాచల శ్రీశైల ప్రముఖ త్రిలింగ శిఖర ప్రాతర్నవోషస్విని కృష్ణ కంకణ కింకిణీ జన జనాద్ గోదావరీ కాంచికాః ద్రాక్షాపేశల వాంగ్మయీ విజయతాం విజయతాం త్రైలింగ పృథ్వీస్థలీ విజయతాం త్రైలింగ పృథ్వీస్థలీ